What's up, everybody? Super awesome to be here. And this is actually Friday. So Mike and I are working into the weekend as we always do for folks. But everybody, let me take the time to introduce Mike Zuber, the author of One Rental at a Time. And probably, I don't know, Mike, would you say a top 5 Forbes book? Would you say that that would be a fair classification?
Yeah, it's actually top 3, right? So I made the medal stand.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I know only Mike would say, yeah, it's actually not number 4, number 5. I'm actually number 3, just so you know. Yeah. And I probably should have given him the bronze medal to start. Probably should have started off with that. Yeah. You know, the lumberjack bronze model, bronze medal. So, but guys, what we wanted to talk about today, Mike, was really how to plan your work and work your plan. I think a lot of times, a lot of the questions that I get from folks that are either 18 getting out of high school or 22 and getting out of college is, oh, where do I even begin? My student loans start in 6 months. I don't have a job yet. I have no idea what this is going to be. I don't know if I'm moving home. I don't know if I'm going to stay where I'm at. Kind of what would you kind of lay out for them just, in, a few minutes, just saying, hey, plan your work your plan. Where would you start if it were you starting over again in your early 20s and getting out of college instead of high school?
Yeah. So what I would tell folks is, with 100% certainty, if you're willing to commit the next decade of your life, you can have everything you want: financial freedom, choices, options, do what you want, when you want, with whom you want, whenever you want. But it's 10 years, right? That's all it is. It's 10 years. And now I know if you're 20 years old, that's half your life. So it feels like forever. As someone who's nearly 50, I promise you 10 years goes by in a heartbeat. As someone who has a nearly 30-year-old daughter, I can tell you 10 years goes by quickly. But I also promise you 10 years go by quickly for bad reasons. If you don't set up the picture, if you don't have that vision, you will make financial decisions that increase your monthly nut, that make it much, much harder. I want people to realize that if at any age, you're 10 years away from financial freedom, it takes sacrifice, meaning choices. It takes getting on the property ladder without question. And unless you're an athlete or an engineer or creator, the only way that the average folks have financial freedom, have a 7 or 8 figure net worth, is getting on the property ladder as soon as possible.
Absolutely.
So that's what I want people to realize is it's 10 years. I mean, if you're willing to do this for 10 years, dude, it's amazing. I can do anything I want now, go on any trip I want, get any car I want, all these amazing things. And it was because I lived below our means. I got my family's money right. We only took care of our needs. We ignored our wants for 10 years. And yes, it may make you feel like a social outcast for 10 years. I don't care. It's freaking, what time is it? 9:30 on a Friday a.m. And you know what? I'm having a conversation about real estate. You know what? I might take a nap at 2:00. You know what? I got a pretty good life. So, and it's all because of the 10-year sacrifice.
Mike, honestly, like the nap thing, like, right? Huh? Like 100-hour work weeks, and you're like, yeah. And you're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna take a nap.
I'll take a nap.
And here's the best part. Guys, your nap differs from his nap. And here's how: while he sleeps, he's making money.
Yeah.
He's making money while he sleeps. That was a concept that took me forever to get over, Mike. Was, I was working my W-2 and working really hard and doing stuff on the side, and I had my side hustle and had my regular job, and I'm doing all this work. But the thing that I realized was, damn, everything that I do depends on me showing up and doing something. That sucks.
Yeah.
I wanted to make money while I was sleeping.
Yeah. And this generation, right? The generation we're talking to in this video, I don't know what to tell you, but inflation is either going to kill you or help you.
Right.
And you know what? If you jump on the property ladder, you get fixed rate debt, you are going to be the rock star of the situation. Because what happens if you average 4% inflation for 10 years, your net worth is going to explode. Your cash flow is going to explode. Your debt's going to be basically, you're going to get paid zero for it.
That's right.
And you're going to win. And if you don't, things are going to get more expensive. You're going to have to work more hours. And, it's inflation is either your friend or your enemy. And I unfortunately think the next decade, it's either going to be your good friend or a really bad enemy.
Yeah. And
you know what? You have a choice.
Yeah. What's to say, Mike, and And I know that this isn't anyone's goal. I know it's not the goal of our government, but what's to say that we don't end up in a position like South Korea or a Japan, where it's 40% down to buy a home or 50% down to buy a home? Guys,
could be.
We're at 68%, I think, home ownership right now. Mike, is it 68, somewhere around there? And I'm sure this administration wants to get it to 70 or 71.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's exactly right.
Yeah. They're going to do everything that they can to put programs in place that allow you to take advantage of that. And real quick, Mike and I know what the wealth gap is. It's us having assets and other people not. That's the wealth gap.
Yeah. Again, there's 1% of the world gets a lot of the props because they're great athletes or actors or singers or whatever, and they can pop bottles. Because again, why can they do that? Well, because they're getting reoccurring revenue from whatever they've done, right? For most of us, average folks, high school dropouts, ex-cons, felons, people who have kids at 19. It's real estate, folks.
I shook my head yes to the ninth grade dropout or high school dropout. I wasn't shaking my head yes to the ex-con, just for
just so we're clear.
For video's sake. It was on video. Want to make sure that that I didn't know that Mike was going to say that, and so I wasn't shaking my head yes to the ex-con thing. Not if there's anything wrong with that. I'm just not. Just full disclosure.
Yeah. Real estate doesn't care, right? Real estate doesn't care what's your back.
It doesn't. And the best part is that last time I checked, they're not making any sports for 6 foot tall white guys with a great beard. They're just not.
No,
there's no sport.
I don't remember that either.
No, there's nothing for me for that. Yes, great beard, mildly fluffy. These are things that I am, but there's no sport for me for that. So it's like the neat thing is that they don't see me when they're taking my P&S, which is a purchase and sales. Yeah. They don't see me when I'm signing the line on that. And so it's the great equalizer, guys. That's where, guys, maybe I was insecure about it, but I was a ninth grade dropout. It was tough to get people to play with me. It was because I was a ninth grade dropout, and they're like, they put us all in a bucket and they think you're X. I wasn't X, and now I own Y and Z, but it was something that was the great equalizer. I was a name on a paper that either qualified or I didn't. And if I did, the deal was mine and how I structured it. And that's the type of stuff that Mike and I do over the hundreds of properties that we've acquired that are differentiators for us and how we've built that wealth. And Mike, something that I really want to talk about is just in any market, not really good ones, not sort of good ones, not pretty good ones, not average markets, not even down markets, but every market we've continued to grow enterprise. Talk a little bit about that when it comes to working your plan and the fact that really coming up with a plan that works in all environments so you are always growing.
Yeah, that's something I really want people to hear. I don't know. It must be the stock trading, arena that people bring to real estate. They're like, I'm going to time the market. I'm only going to buy after a crash. Yes, we had a crash in the Great Recession and all of that, but most of you were too scared to do anything. And I sopped up everything I could. What everybody hear from this is I have bought every year for 20 years. Yes, there are years I bought more than others, but that's because I did the work and I found the deals, right? Every deal I've gotten, I've structured to make sure it hits my minimum yield requirement or greater. It doesn't matter. I buy everything I buy, I intend to hold forever. And then the other thing I want people to hear in this conversation is if you're doing the work like Matt and I talk about, you will realize when the market is overpaying for an asset.
That's right.
That is the huge thing. If you ever take the time to read my book, we were buying single family homes. Why? Because that's all I ever lived in. I was an idiot. I didn't know any better. Right? I never looked at a duplex. I didn't know what they were, right? I only looked at 3-bedroom or 4-bedroom houses. That's all I was searching for. Then the market got wonky. It got too expensive and I couldn't afford 3- and 4-bedroom houses because my model said, don't buy negative cash flow.
That's right.
So I was stuck. I wasn't financially free. I wanted to buy another one. And lo and behold, you come to realize that when single families are hot, multifamilies are not. And then when multifamilies get hot, single families, real estate market it don't go up and down at the same time. And you just have to get good at looking at your market, realizing what's overpaid and what's undervalued. And you have this 1031 exchange, that is just monumental. I was able to go from 8 to 80 units with no money out of my pocket. I sold what was expensive and I bought what was cheap.
Oh,
pretty cool.
I mean, my dudes, like 8 to 80. I'm not even at 80, not even there yet. And he did that. What is it? It was like a 24-month span, wasn't it? Or 12-month span.
It's 16, 18 months. No new money. Just
18 months, 8 to 80 on your trajectory to Mars before
and
Elon was
I
even
gave my middle finger to the IRS because they got none of that.
Hey guys, just so you know, he didn't do anything illegal.
Not at all.
It's called a 1031. We will absolutely be covering this in coming videos because we actually have a ninja at 1031s, and there's actually 5 different flavors of 1031 that I was somewhat unaware of. But guys, what he did in turning 8 into 80, borderline Jesus move. Fish, bread.
It was really good timing, I could tell you.
Yeah, borderline Jesus move right there. But again, that multiplication, that's what people can get their hands on. And you don't need to go 8 to 80. No. It can be 1 to 4. Holy cow, 1 to 4. Like, do yourselves all a favor and look at 20 years of real estate back 20 years, and then multiply that by 4 properties.
Yeah.
And then tell me how expensive it is to buy a property right now. If you're listening to these other morons on some of these other channels, they could not be more wrong. Look at your market. If you're buying in a $1.8 million neighborhood, yeah, some of what they're saying might make sense. However, if you're not, you need to be doing the homework and looking and understanding what exactly your neighborhood's worth, where you're looking to invest, and what that return on capital, or in Mike's case, yield, is going to be. That's where the gold is, right? That's where you put together, regardless of the market, that's where you put together a deal, is based on what you're looking for yield and being able to pivot, right, Mike?
Yeah, I think the thing that I try to teach and I talk about is every market has an average yield.
That's right.
Right. Maybe. And again, the beauty of what I teach is I don't judge, right? If you're happy in a 2% yield market, by all means, go nuts. Maybe it's, maybe you only want to invest 20 minutes from home. Maybe that's your stick and you live in San Francisco. Well, guess what? It's not, it's cheap, or it's bad return, but maybe it's good for you. Or maybe you want to invest somewhere else is 12%. I don't judge. But if you aren't going to do the work and you can't tell me in 30 seconds or less what an average yield is, you do not have my permission to write an offer, because you're gambling. You are walking up to the craps table or the roulette wheel, and you're guessing a number. Yeah, maybe it can hit, but you got a 1 in 35 or 1 in 36 chance. Do the work, learn your average. And once you know average, Matt,
that's right,
the world's your oyster.
That's right.
You realize that 98% of the stuff sucks, and you just got to go work on the 2%. It's so empowering, enlightening, and freeing to be able to tell someone, Matt, in my market today, it's 6%. In my market in 2010, it was 15%. It changes.
That's right.
Do the work, daily work. Let's go.
And buying based on appreciation opportunity is roulette wheel, rolling dice. It is not what real estate investors do. That's what real estate traders do.
Yeah. What I got to tell you about this, and again, doing this 20 years, I saw a couple of people worth 10 figures, right? Not 7 figures, 10 figures. And what I have to say to people that do this is you're going to win for a little while, and you're going to double and triple down, and the market's going to catch you. It's going to turn violently, and you're going to eventually lose.
That's right.
It's not fun.
Well, it's the same thing that we're seeing now with guys doing real estate developments and such. They're the guys that are out there and just pouring one foundation after another and then just following up the lumber behind it. If you're doing that times 60 or 80 buildings, that's a scary, scary sight. That is not a safe place to be.
Yeah. Go look at builders, mom and pop builders. They all go bankrupt eventually.
Largely. Yep.
Yeah. They just go on a run and they do what they do. They build, and eventually the market turns and it doesn't end well. So,
and they're usually in, 3, 4, 5 deals, and you can't meet capital requirements. And that's when you see Mike and my shiny face.
Yes.
Hi. We're here to buy your asset.
That's right.
And don't worry, we'll give you stressed asset
pricing
value.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Perfect. All the time.
Yep. So Mike and I depend on those people that beat their chests and want to be huge, and it's all about the top line. Guys, it's about the bottom line. That's the number it's about. It's
you're the only number.
You're not a company looking to get listed and IPO. You are your own organization, and it only matters what's getting to the bottom line. Top line is for dinner party talk and doesn't really matter. Quite frankly, I bet if Mike and I were at a dinner party, we probably wouldn't even talk about that stuff anyway. We'd just be talking about how a 2x4 cost me $750 and how I wanted to punch a wall. You know?
How a fence that used to cost me $1,500 now costs me $4,500 to replace. God damn cost of freaking fence pickets.
Yeah. Exactly. You're like, what are these like laced with gold? Are there hidden pearls?
Are there diamond dusts in them somewhere? What the hell?
Yeah. Oh, these costs are insane. Well, guys, want to thank Mike for just another awesome interview and really covering a really important topic, you know, to really every demographic, but especially in that 18 to 28 age where you guys are trying to start out. Mike, thank you again so much. Where can we find you?
Just type in One Rental at a Time. You should find my YouTube channel, IG, Amazon, Audible. It should be easy.
It's all there, guys. It's all there. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for investing your time. Mike, thanks for investing your time, for folks to invest their time. And we will catch you on the other side. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.